How many of you thought when you were growing up that you were going to lead some crazy life, like either be an actor or be famous or be rich or something like that? Well, this is going to be hard to hear, but you're not special. By definition, likely you are leading an average life, right? But from my point of view, I think that actually is really special. And this is why you should accept that you're going to have an average life sooner. Hey, creators, Aimon here, and this is where I help you master your creative mindset. Let's get into it. So it's so hard to fly under the radar these days with like technology, but flying under the radar in the grand scheme of things, I think is really special because, okay, so like a bit about me, like I run a media company, I produce music, um, and I DJ music as well at music festivals and things like that. I have some amazing close relationships, okay, and I go to the gym, okay. I'm not a superhero, but I'm just telling you a little bit about myself. My business isn't making millions of dollars per year, but it's doing pretty well, okay. In 10 years' time of grinding in music, I've never once caught a break. My music's got like 500K plays online, which is pretty good, but it's not crazy, right? I'm fit and healthy, but I'm not insanely shredded. I'm happy with where I'm at, but I'm not like super jacked, crazy superhero vibes, right? And I don't have 1,000 friends, but I do have a few really deep, meaningful connections with human beings, right? I have some great relationships. And guess what? I love my life, okay? And this is the thing, like, ever since preschool, I thought that I was just going to be this superstar. I thought I was different. I was special. I was unique. And to an extent, everyone is special and unique, obviously. But as I've gotten older, and I still had this fierce motivation in my 20s where I was like, oh, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be something. And slowly but surely you realize, you know what? The special thing is not being this crazy famous human being. Because, like, you could do that and you could sacrifice everything to be famous or to have X that this person has or that this person has. But are those sacrifices worth it? Like maybe I live an above average life. Not bragging or saying any of that. I'm just exploring an idea on video. That's what we do here, right? But even so, I make the time and I find the time to relax on the hammock a couple of times a week. And I find immense value in that. And in that time, I could be grinding on my fifth side hustle business or marketing all my music because I need to get all these plays and be famous and seek status. But does that matter either? No, because like I've established that where my actual values are and what actually is valuable to me. And if you really think about it, being famous or having all these things, it's not actually that special. And there's a whole bunch of other downsides that come with leading a way above average, by definition, life. So yeah, it took me into like my mid 20s to realize an average life was reality, right? And in a sense, yeah, I've still got that drive and that push for more, and that's, who knows if that's ADHD or whatever it is, but like I'm a driven person, right? But yeah, I don't care to be like the biggest DJ in the world. Like I DJ at festivals, I DJ at small festivals, and I'm getting out of it because I don't care about it because it doesn't align with my values. I could double down on that thing and I could, the whole last 10 years, I could have been like, this is the only thing that matters and I'm going to achieve that. And I could be doing that right now. Okay. But instead, as an ADHD artist and creative, I have a million other things that I enjoy doing. And I value being able to do all of those things, right? And I don't care to be in the mouse wheel of like upgrading my home every few years, right? I don't care if I ever get an inch of fame because I already have deep gratitude for where I'm at. And like I love pushing myself every day and trying to be better than I was every single day. And that like is really all that matters. And it's so empowering accepting that you're going to live an average life. And you can live an above average life or you can live a below average life. But if you have gratitude for the things that you do have, then none of that matters. And the other thing is just comparing yourself to other people again. Like the most common thing you hear, don't compare yourself to other people, but it's so true. Because the second you do that, you're like, oh, nothing in my life is good enough. And it won't be. You won't enjoy your existence. You won't enjoy that. But the second you realize the only thing you need to compare yourself to is yourself yesterday, right? Then it just becomes so much more fulfilling because you don't have any other reference point that you're like, oh, I need to be this because of this. You don't need to be anything. You don't need to do anything. If you made enough money working 3 days a week in an average job and you lived in a way below average house, but you enjoyed your existence on a day-to-day basis, if you had more hammock time than me, I'd be jealous, you know? And so yeah, that's really all that matters. And what would you actually have if you had everything? Like, what would you actually have? You just have a different perspective on yourself, right? But also, what is everything? Because you could have everything now. It just depends. It just depends on your perspective, right? And you can change that perspective now without having it all, right? You can have it all without actually having it all. Again, it's just about your perception on your own life, on your own reality. But yeah, coming from someone that thought that for whatever reason, I don't know, you just grow up watching TV and you think, I'm going to be something special and famous and people will worship me and think of me and blah, blah. But like, what actually is that? It's like, oh, well, even from a young age, it's drilled into you that seeking status is important. And from a biological point of view, it is. Because again, when you're when you're in a cave with 30 other cavemen and you can seek your status all the way to the top, then, you know, your little spermies are gonna go around and you're gonna reproduce and survive, right? And that's the biological reason for that. But we're in a modern world, and now that you can see everyone on the internet, your perception of seeking status is so much more wide and varied. And it's harder to relate because if you were comparing yourself to 30 other cavemen and you're like, oh, if I just like kill an extra deer each week, I'm going to have the highest status. And I put all the guys in that place. But you're only competing with 30 other people. But in this day and age, you're competing with everyone in the whole world, and it's not that nice, right? Because your brain hasn't evolved much over the last few thousands of years, and it still thinks it's all the same, and we're just cavemen, right? Which is a beautiful thing in one sense. But in the other sense, if you can realize that and extract from that, hey, we're actually living in a completely different environment now, and none of that is real. And this is why it's so special, I think, to fly under the radar. Because you couldn't really fly under the radar when you're a caveman with 30 people. I know that's my only example that I go to when I'm talking about evolutionary biology, but it's a good example. It gets the point across, okay? And I've lost my point. I'm gonna have a sip of green tea today. It's been sitting here for a while. Oh dear. But that's why it's so special to actually fly under the radar. Because you don't like, you know, you're gonna die. I know I say this a lot, but you're gonna die. And 20, 50 years after you die, nobody's going to remember you ever, unless you're like Elon Musk or something. But who wants to be that guy? Like, sure, he's intelligent, he's got it all, but what is it all? Like, he's been divorced like 15 million times. Like, he's probably not happy. He even said on Joe Rogan, he's not actually, like, people wouldn't want to be him. And you wouldn't, because you'd have to sacrifice so much to be that. And then you get that and you realize, wait, why am I here? And so that's why I'm embracing a more simple life. I'm embracing living an average life. And that's not to say I'm not going to strive for anything. As I said, I'm a driven person. Like, I push myself. I try to get more out of my existence in every way. I'm optimizing little autistic robot. Okay. That's my reality sometimes. But that's just to say that it's like, you don't have to be what you think you have to be. Give yourself permission to be whatever you want to be. And if that means that you're making music like me and you're happy never to have anybody listen to it, but you know you're making sick music and you enjoy that process of creating and releasing music, that's sick. And you're going to enjoy your existence so much, right? Or if you're a painter or a dancer or whatever it is, okay? And you just have another job that pays the bills, or, you know, I'm lucky that my job is creative and I pay the bills with my creative job, so I get that like creative fulfillment hit from that. But then I also get my creative fulfillment hit when I get home and I get to make music and I've got the time to make music. But if I was like running a multi-million-dollar business and had all this and all that, and I wouldn't have time for all this other stuff that I enjoy. Okay. I know it sounds weird, but I enjoy mowing my lawn. And as I look at it now, it needs to be mowed, but it's way too hot right now. Okay. But I'll get to it. Keep me accountable. Thank you. I enjoy all these little things. Listen to a podcast or not listen to a podcast while I'm, picking the weeds out of my garden. And that's an average thing to do. If you're a multimillionaire, you'd have somebody doing your garden for you, or you wouldn't live in a house that has a garden, or, I can push on this point forever, but it's a beautiful thing living a mid-life, as the kids would say these days. And I think it's underrated. People aren't realizing that you don't have to be all this. You don't have to make content. You don't have to do anything. You can just live your life how you want to live it, dude. And dudettes, okay? Anyway, hopefully you've gotten a lot of value out of this video. But yeah, if you can accept you're having an average life sooner, it's way more chill. I'll see you in the next episode.